Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about hair. I saw someone do this at a fashion show. I think it was like New York Fashion Week a while back. But they were doing this thing on the model, is like waving it with the flat iron. And they were doing like, it looked just like natural beachy kind of waves, but without looking dirty or anything. It was awesome. So I started doing it all the time, and I realized that, especially since my hair is so long, it would take me probably about 45 minutes or more to do it. And so then I was walking through Ulta one day and I realized that there was this like deep waver from Bedhead, and I was like, it was like 20 bucks or something. So I was like, for 20 bucks, whatever, if it breaks in a month, I mean, at least I got a month's use out of it. And it's a deep waver, and it completely changed how I do my hair. So I would do it my whole, like all of my head pretty much. Most of the time I do it like from like up here down, so probably like 3/4 of my head I do. But so it would take me like 45 minutes, and now with that, it takes me like 5 minutes. So I got back 40 minutes of my life. So I'm gonna show you how to use both ways. So you can do it with your flat iron to see if you even like what the look looks like. And if you do, then I would highly suggest going and getting that bed head. It's called like a wave artist. Yeah, the wave artist, and there's two. There's this deep one that has the super deep kind of ridges, and then there's another one there's one that does like the crimping, like the 80s crimping, and then there's another one that does less deep waves. So I'm going to show you one side of my head. I'm going to do it with my flat iron, and the other side I'll show you with the deep waver. Okay, so I'm going to start with my flat iron. So this is just like the wet to straight Remington flat iron. I've had this forever. I got a Chi, and then I realized that you can't do pretty much anything besides just straightening it. So until I find something else that I am equally happy with as this, because this has lasted me probably 5 years, and it's a cheap one. It was like 40 bucks for this guy 5 years ago. So for when I do it with the flat iron, I usually separate my hair into pieces because it just makes it a lot faster. But then when I do it with the waver, I just grab chunks and just kind of do it. So I will separate half of my hair. So I'll start with doing like this bit right here. And what I did before I start doing this is I just blow dry it straight, and then I pass over it with the flat iron just to make sure that it's like pretty good and straight. So this might even be too big of a piece, but it's about an average size, but it might still be too big. But what I do is I just put it up at the top, and I just tilt it so that it's like pointed outward, and I just hold it there for a little bit. And then I pull it back the opposite direction, so towards me. And I like to hold this part so that it's like a little bit deeper of a wave. And then I just keep doing that. See how long this takes? So imagine having to do this on your whole head all the time. And I leave the ends a little bit straighter typically, just because it kind of looks funny if you just have the end all bent and crazy. So this is what it looks like. I know with my dark hair you can't really see it in the camera, but it's just waved and pretty and natural. And I naturally have super curly hair, so, but for whatever reason, when I try and curl my hair or do something like that with my hair after I've like straightened it or whatever, it doesn't work out. But people always ask me if this was like my natural hair when I do this, because it looks really nice and natural. So I just grab a section like this. If you want, you can use one of those sprays to protect your hair, but I did that before. I just do it all over my whole head before. I use the Kenra Platinum Blow Dry Spray, and it smells like coconuts. It smells amazing. So I just use that before I blow dry my hair, and then after I'm done blow drying it, so that it's protected from this, from the iron. So I just grab the piece, and you do the same thing. You just start going outward, and make sure you hold on to your hair. Otherwise, because you don't want it to slip out of the sides and then screws up the pattern. So I'm just holding that piece. And I go like that, back. And then kind of just does a wave. And this one part didn't wave as well, so I just went back over it. And see, that takes forever to do with just the flat iron. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you with my waver. And then I'll do my whole head with the waving one. So like I said, I just grab chunks. And for whatever reason, I like to start on the bottom. So I just grabbed a chunk from underneath. And you just put your hair in between the two. I'll do it this way. You just put your hair in between and clamp it closed. And you just hold it there for a few seconds, like 5 seconds. It does not take long at all. And then you just go down and there. Then you just go down to the next part. So it's like waved, and then where that wave ends, that's where you make sure that you put the beginning of it, of the iron. Just do a little bit on the end. And see how much nicer that turned out? And it's like glossy, and then it loosens up too. So it's not, you can make it stay super tight, so you can do like a 40s look, or you can kind of brush it through and make it look more messy and beachy. So then, like I said, I like to start and do like the bottom third of my hair. So I'm starting like a third of the way down, so like that. Super fast, still, and super easy. Okay, and that's all it is. So it was a lot faster to do with my waver than with the flat iron, and you're guaranteed to get 2 good hair days out of this, because when you first do it, especially if you do it right after when you blow dry your hair, it's a lot bigger and more kind of voluminous and more voluptuous. And then when you sleep on it, the next day it's a little bit flatter and more beachy and like messy looking. And so you get 2 good hair days. So next, to set it, I just use a whole ton of hairspray. So I use the Garnier Sleek and Shine Anti-Humidity Spray because I live in Florida and there's nothing but humidity here. And you just spray it. And I like to get underneath too. And there you have it, your beachy, wavy hair. So I hope you like it, and I hope you like the waver if you do decide to go out and get it, because I know there's a ton of different kinds that are like $200, and I think that would be just a waste of money because that one works perfectly fine. So don't waste your money in getting like a $200 deep waver. So just go to Target or Ulta or even Walmart. I'm sure they have it, and get one of those Conair, or no, the bedhead wavers. So that's it, and thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video, and I am sending tons of love from me, my house, to yours. We'll see you later. Bye.